Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mark. This is Spiguyver Backpacking. It is a beautiful day out here. It's like just about 80 degrees, about perfect, a nice breeze blowing through. So I'm out here in the woods, found a nice spot to hang up this hammock so I could talk with you guys. If you guys haven't seen this channel before, this channel is all about backpacking. Now I tend to skew to the side of ultralight. So some of the things that you'll see on this channel are trips, both long distance trips and shorter overnight weekend warrior type stuff. Gear, a lot of gear will be ultralight in nature, and then things like hammocks, like what I'm sitting in now. Hammock reviews, ultralight gear, the stuff that I would want to use out on the trail. I don't test things that I don't think I would use and I don't think you would use. So if you guys haven't done so before, go ahead and go down there, hit that subscribe button so you'll get notifications every time I post a new video. All right, let's get into this. What are we out here to talk about today? Well, so a couple weeks ago, I was out on the Tahoe Rim Trail, and I had a whole video series on that. You guys can go check that out. But while we were out there, it was me, Rain Man, and Sean. And I'm not sure if Sean has his trail name officially yet or not, but there might be one there. But before going out there, I was contacted by TAC9ER, and they had some carbon fiber poles, trekking poles, that they wanted me to test out. So they actually sent me two pairs, one for me and one for Rain Man to test out on the trip. And so we took them out and put them through their paces. And so today, that's what we're going to talk about. How did they work out? What were the pros? What were the cons? Would I recommend them? Let's talk about price point, where they compare in the market space. So let's go. Let's talk about this. Okay, so the poles that I got are these TAC9ER. You see right there, TAC9ER carbon fiber folding poles. So they go together really quite easily. You just kind of fit them in together. This top piece has a pull out, and then you've got this little silver pin that locks in. And then to adjust the height, you've got a flip lock, and it's got markings on there, graduated markings. So if you like 120, mark it there, bang, now you've got your pole. And they're pretty solid poles. What's really kind of nice is how light they are. I mean, they are truly carbon fiber poles. They're not like a carbon fiber mesh over the top of aluminum. They truly are carbon fiber poles, and they are really, really light. I think one of the things that both Rain Man and I noticed immediately is just how flickable they are, and that's what we call it, flickable. Like being able to move it forward while we're on the trail, call that flickability. And the flickability of these is really high. So one of the things that I immediately, as we were packing and getting ready to go on the trip, one of the things I noticed is that these don't pack quite as well as the telescoping poles that I have. My normal poles are aluminum, super lightweight, and really not much lighter than these, honestly. But what they do is they fold up into each other, and so you end up with a little bit longer than this, probably about this long. Okay, so another third longer than these, but they're only this thick. That's it. So real easy to store in your pack, in a side pocket, or anywhere else. These fold up, and they're kind of well, they're about 3 times as bulky around as my normal ones are. I'm not sure I like it all that well being like this. Now Rain Man, on the other hand, prefers these, and there is an advantage. Okay, so one of the things I have noticed with my telescoping are not the flick lock like this. My telescoping are the cam locks. So you twist them. They're twist locks. And I have had a couple of times, and Rain Man's been with me and seen it, a couple of times where they have pretty much frozen solid. And there was one time that I had to take like a rag and a pair of pliers to get enough grip to loosen them up. And so there is that advantage to these, is they're super easy to put together and to take apart. The one complaint I had seen online reading the reviews was that this didn't lock, and so it kept compressing on people. Well, if you actually pull it out and engage it and get that little pin in, it will stay put, I promise. So we did a little over 100 miles on that trip. I put another 20-ish miles on this after that. So I've got about 120 miles on here. You can see they're a little bit beat up down at the ends. I don't use baskets on mine. Chris does. So Rain Man uses baskets on his. And these come with like 3 or 4 different sets of baskets. They come with the rubber tip and then these carbide tips. And there's some wear. I was on a really rocky terrain. There's definitely some wear on these carbide tips, but they still have the little bite design on the bottom, and they aren't bent. Everything about them looks pretty good. So some dings on here, but I've taken a look and there's nothing deep. There's nothing that will I think is going to develop into a crack. There are no cracks. There's no big gouges. If I was to use the baskets, it would probably cut down on this a lot, and they'd probably look closer to what the rest of it looks like, which is pretty much like new. All around, I really liked these poles. You know, they go together, like I said, pretty easily. Just kind of pull them apart or pull them together. Pull it out till it clicks. Adjust it to the height you like. Snap it in, and you're ready to go. So one of the things that we both noticed was these foam grips. Foam's not bad. It feels nice in the hand. It's a smooth foam. Feels pretty nice in the hand. But cork with a little bit more extension. Like if this whole thing, so that you wouldn't have to make any adjustments as you're going up or downhill. Cork with a little bit of an extension down here, just a grip there, would have been nice. Cork is just a little bit nicer material. Now, as far as these loops, I actually like them, and they adjust really easy. So I put my hand in, I grab the loose end, and I pull, and it tightens. And while I'm putting pressure on there, it doesn't loosen. We did find that they do loosen over time on the trail, because if you aren't using them like with it pretty tight against you, and you can see here, all I have to do is pull. If you pull on just the one side, if somehow you get your hand so that it's pulling on just the one side, it can pull out and loosen. But it's real easy when your hand in there, just grab it, tighten it up, and it tightens. And you can see I can yank on it all day long, and while I've got pressure on it, it doesn't release. But as soon as I let some pressure off of it, I can pull it and it expands real easy. So not a bad adjustment system, honestly. Chris did notice, Rayman did notice that one of my pins was coming out. So we just pushed it in with my finger like that. You can see it was out a little bit right there. Just pushed it in with my finger, and it's back in there, good to go. Wear and tear wise, grips held up really good. The pole held up really good. These are my poles. So Rain Man's poles didn't hold up quite as well. Here's where he had an issue, and I'll show you. So if you see here, this ring where this little metal piece clips in, you've got this plastic ring right there, and his broke. It snapped, it cracked right straight up, and then slid up the shaft. So it wasn't here anymore, it was up. And so this metal pin, instead of sitting on this collar, was sitting on carbon. And so it actually started, Chris is pretty hard on his poles. I'll be honest, and he'll probably tell you the same thing. He slams his poles in really hard. I'm kind of placing them, and they're more for stability for me. Once they're in, I'll use them to pull if I'm going uphill, and I'll kind of sometimes put my hands on the top and use them to brace myself going downhill. But man, he gets into a rhythm and he is just slamming those poles in. And without that collar there to protect it, that pin, this metal pin, really did start to creep up into the carbon and split it and kind of fracture it. Now, to their credit, as soon as we notified TAC9ER of that, awesome customer service, they shipped out a new set to him. So he has a brand new set coming to him. I don't know if he's got them yet, but brand new set coming to him to fix that situation. Everything about these, I honestly really like. Let's take a look at what the problem that Chris had, and hear his thoughts on these poles. So Raymond, what the hell happened to your poles, man?
Well, you know, I'm kind of hard on my poles. I all but trail run when I go downhill. I really lean out on them hard out front, the rough granite here in the Tahoe Basin, it did a number on them. It broke the collar on this one. It started to splinter the carbon up through here pretty decently. But honestly, outside of that, I really liked these poles. They were super lightweight. They flicked amazingly well. They're real solid. There's no rattles to them or anything. I use a Black Diamond Alpine Carbon Z, pretty much the beefiest, most expensive pole that you can buy, and I really, really, really liked these poles. I didn't think I was going to. If they did a cork grip, and if they could fix that little plastic collar.
What do you think? Maybe an aluminum collar there?
Yeah, I think that would do it. I really do. I'm not a designer, but I think some sort of little insert in there perhaps, or an aluminum collar to give it a little more something there. But I really like these poles for the, you know, for the difference in the cost.
Yeah,
I like these poles.
Yeah, for cool. Okay, so as you saw, he did have a little bit of an issue there, but like I said, it was taken care of. Customer service took care of it. Does it call the durability into question? To some extent, yeah, it does. And I really think that if they were to replace this plastic piece right here with an aluminum piece, all of it's solved. It's fixed, and they've got an extremely solid set of poles. Now, look, carbon poles are not for everybody. They are pretty expensive. You know, Rain Man mentioned he has those Black Diamond ones. Now, I know several people that have the Black Diamond ones. I've looked at the Black Diamond ones. I have not been able to justify the price of the Black Diamond ones. You're talking upwards of $200 for a nice set of carbon poles, whereas these are well under $100. So there's definitely a trade-off there. And for the quality I've seen with these, I would definitely recommend trying these out if you're in the market and want to try out a set of carbon poles, but don't want to shell out $200 plus for a set of the Black Diamonds. Now, we saw a failure. We saw Chris's fail out there on the trail after only like 3 or 4 days out on the trail. So it wasn't like he had been abusing them for months and they failed. However, if you go back and you look at my Laurel Highlands trip, I think it was day 2, Frozen had a pair of brand new carbon Black Diamond poles, and they broke as well. They had a bigger issue, one that couldn't be kind of worked through really while we were out on the trail. And I've actually seen several sets of the Black Diamonds have similar type problems where the inserts fall out and so they won't really clip together anymore. So just something else to think about. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend these to anybody. These TAC9ER poles served me really well. I haven't had a big problem with them yet. I haven't had any problem with them yet, to be completely honest. Yeah, I wish this was cork. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of the folding versus the telescoping, but honestly, I've had no problems with these. I really like them. I like how light they are. I like how flickable they are. They have a good amount of flex to them without being bendy. They work really well, and I'm pretty damn impressed with them, to be honest. For the price point, I don't think you can go wrong trying these out. These are definitely better and put together a lot better than some of the others that are out there. There are other carbon poles that are on the market that are a hell of a lot heavier than this and not put together anywhere near as well as this. There's ones that are telescoping, that are flick locks, but they're a whole lot heavier than these. These things are pretty awesome. Now, while we were out on the trail, at one point we swapped. Sean had a set of cheaper flick lock telescoping poles, aluminum ones, and we swapped. Within 5 feet, I was like, oh, I want mine back. They were heavier, and you could really feel it as you were trying to move the poles and set them forward. You could really feel it. I went back to these and I was like, oh yeah, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. So go ahead and give these a try if you're in the market. Good stuff. And customer service, I've got to say, was absolutely incredible. We contacted them immediately, no questions asked, sent them some photos, and they had new ones on the way to Chris. So give them a try. TAC9ER carbon trekking poles. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. I will see you down the trail.